and these are all kinds of different types of batteries and chargers, and there's a lot of misinformation out there, and we have gotten to the bottom of most of it for our company, and we're talking about these things. By the way, everyone, this live stream is brought to you by our web store, tvnation.net, where we were having the biggest end of year blowout sale that you could possibly think of, bigger than anything we've ever had before. So I know we did a poll recently on YouTube. When you guys, 57% of you guys wanted build kits on sale. They're all on sale right now, and there are even some extra perks for it if you go ahead and you get them here before Christmas. It's a 12 days of Christmas sale. So we'll be doing 12 days of live streaming all the way until Christmas, pretty much. That's how we're doing. So every night we're going to be going live on a topic that's important. We're just so happy to be building a boat. And so the last few times have been on that and on other important key topics. Yesterday we demoed hydroturf and some other stuff. So we'll be kind of going over really important topics: boat electrical, wiring, batteries, accessories. You guys want to talk about trolling motors, equipment, anchors. You want to talk about how to weld versus rivets versus whatever topics. We're definitely here to do it. Please leave a like if you're in the chat, because likes spike up the chat tremendously. The more likes, the more people enter, the more questions, and just the overall better the live stream. Really do appreciate you hitting that thumbs up. Thank you guys so much. Anyways, check this out. What's what we got? So we have a plethora of batteries here. So we're just, there's a lot of misconceptions. There was a lot of stuff happening. And there's a lot of difference in quality. Well, kind of. But the bigger thing is batteries, lithium batteries in general, have actually came much farther than I had thought. That I really had thought, not just in safety, but pretty much in cost. And we're going to get down to that. So this is the standard brass tacks deep cycle lead acid battery. This beautiful thing here. It's got a, can I pull that off? If I had, stupid. Come on. Without hitting the terminals. Light myself on fire on the live stream. All right, lead acid. There's water in there. Just trust me, there's water in there. These are the ports where you have to monitor and fill the water. And that is actually, dang, it needs water. I only used it once. Oh, you can see the water there. Okay, they need to be constantly checked out after. They're a little bit needed. They need to be more babied. They're like the OG. That's how they were. Deep cycles. The first deep cycle was amazing. We've all used them. We can know what to reasonably expect. We know how long they'll reasonably last, when they'll fail. So they're pretty predictable. The old tried and trusty lead acid group 24 AGM, all the way to group 29, group 31. Their power band, at full charge, they work really well, but you can definitely notice a decrease in performance as the battery drains. It's noticeable. You can tell. And they just don't hold that high of a charge for that long. So a lot of people have steered away from these completely because they're all running UHD, fish finders, and graphs, and all that stuff. They require a higher charge, just a better overall battery. By the way, if you guys enter this live chat, please leave a like. Help us get this thing streaming a little bit. Get the count up. We're trying to get 50 people in here plus, and we'll see how we can go. If you guys have questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat here. Let's give a few shout outs real quick, and then we'll move on. What's going on, Jimbo? You didn't miss anything. We just started. What's going on, Damien? You're back. No. Okay, let me talk about that ceiling. Right? What you don't know is that I fixed the leak, which kind of saved it, but not really. But let's be honest here. If we're being honest, I could give a flying crap about this ceiling right now. I got too many things to do. See this? I mean, if I got to choose between building a boat and fishing, and then fixing that, I have this much motivation to finish that. Yeah, it's unsightly. Yeah, I look at it and I think that's really ugly. I need to fix that, but then I just move on. One of these days though, I'm gonna have to, that's just a small part of a larger, bigger problem with my plumbing out here in Arizona. I'm gonna have to replace that entire copper piping. Probably gonna put PEX in, but not today. Not to buy a $500 PEX tool from Milwaukee to do all that, or I'm gonna pay some contractor thousands and thousands of dollars to do something we could just, most of us could probably just do. So, hold on. That's how that goes. Yeah, the roof is ugly. I'm sorry, guys. You got to see in the background. Here, let me flip this back. You can look back at the batteries. Anyways, what's going on, Phil? And yes, you're right, Agent Orange. The likes help the algorithm tell anybody that I'm live. So 21 people in the chat. Need 21 likes, guys. 24 people in the chat. Hit us a like, get this chat growing. Mainly for the chat to grow, so there's more conversation and stuff. Otherwise, you guys can view wherever you need to go, though. Anyway, so we just talked about the Group 24, lead acid, the OG, the tried and true. You guys can probably hear my dogs going nuts because my wife's home. And then the next step up from this is pretty reasonable. Actually, I got hosed for this one on holiday weekend in a vacation town. So I had to pay almost twice as much as what this thing is worth. But normally you can pick up these things for about $100, right? And about $100 for a higher quality one, a little bit over. You're looking at 100, 130. Some for the Group 24s like this, sometimes you can get at Walmart for like 80, 90 bucks. And they don't last the longest, they're not the best quality. But a lot of people will run 2, 3, 4 of these in a boat. The next step up from that is an AGM. The AGMs, they're sealed here. These caps, you don't have to open these for maintenance. This is a much more robust battery. So they're both running off of, I think, lead acid. But the whole thing is this is a flooded cell, and these are glass mats, closed cell lead acid. So this is a bunch of mats, individual mats. No liquid is flushing in here. If I shake this thing, no liquid is flushing in there. If I shake this thing, it sounds like a gallon of water. All right. The bigger reason these decrease in time over the AGM is because of the movement. So if these stay almost perfectly still, they will last for a very long time. Most people don't know that. They last for years. I mean, it's because the liquid doesn't actually go anywhere. As long as you monitor the water level, it'll be really good. But that's not the case. The case is these things are generally on RVs or boats, and you're towing them down the road. And if it's not the wave shutter that does them dirty, it's like just the traveling down the road, all the bumps and this and that. These things do go, right? I give them about a year and a half of real use. With light use, they can last longer. Now we go to these. These are they're more expensive and often even heavier. Like this thing is about 50 pounds, this battery. This is just a U1 AGM. This is a much smaller AGM. I have a bigger one in my other boat. But this what I would say is much more reliable. It's like it comes out the same background as the lead acid, but it's much more reliable because of that glass mat, because of the non-damage that doesn't happen. And because of that, this thing can go down the road and be in a boat and shutter and go through a lot more abuse, and it'll still last you 3+ years. That's the plus for these. The downside for these is that, well, they're heavier than tar. They really are. They're heavier than these per like the equivalent battery. Not by much, but it is noticeable, and it just makes it worse. And then they also have the same voltage drop the more the power goes down. So that doesn't really help things. By the way, if you guys are new into the chat, welcome. Please hit a like. And we're having our biggest Christmas sale of the year, like going on all the way until Christmas. So there's 12 days of live streams, 12 days of this stuff. But thank you guys. Here, let's go back. All right. That's the difference between the AGM and that. Now a lot of people don't think the extra cost is even worth it. They just go with these. I went with these forever. And I'll tell you, yeah, you probably get a little bit more for your money. Honestly, unless you just need sheer reliability. Like you're on a tournament and you're $100,000 on the line. Maybe you get AGMs. But the bigger thing, obviously, is lithium. Dakota Lithium, which we do not have here, is kind of the thing that blew up. It kind of blew up the market, and we all saw lithiums. We all saw how light they were. We were like, ooh, ah, and they were like $1,000 a piece. And, everybody was all on the bandwagon of lithium. Me, because they were so expensive, I thought they would never hit mainstream. I would always think lead acid would be the standard. And then, obviously, AGM would be one standard deviation above the standard, and then lithiums are just for the elites or the people who just are financially responsible and would pay $1,000 for a battery for, I don't know, that was what I was thinking. I didn't think it would change for a decade. I was wrong. They have changed dramatically. Now, there are still batteries out there that are $1,000 plus or maybe quite a few $100 plus, and we're going to talk about that, but there are batteries that are not much more expensive than a lead acid that perform so much better. Let's get into that. Guys, leave a like for lithium batteries. If you're in the new in the chat, there's 27 people in the chat. Need 27 likes. There's only 10. This thing, Power Queen specifically. Well, we can start off with a little small dude. We'll talk about the small dude in a second. But this is a 50 amp hour lithium iron phosphate. So it's LifePO4. So LifePO4, not LifePO4, LifePO4. Those are the actual safe ones. 12.8 volts. But when you read this on a meter, it reads almost 14 volts. It's reading 13.5, 13.8, sometimes almost 14. Same thing with this one. 12.8 volt, 100 amp hour. So this thing right here is a big deal. See that? How light that is? You see this? That's one hand. I mean, I'm not a weak person, but I'm not like the most strong person ever. Like, this is 9 pounds. That thing is, I can't twist that. Like, nope, I'm not gonna try. I'm gonna break my wrist. That's 25 pounds. That's 25 pounds. It's 50 pounds. 9 pounds. 50 amp hour, which is equal to about a group 20. No, maybe less. Let me see. This one is a group 20, but it's 60 amp hours. So it's a group 18, group 19, I don't know. But I'll tell you, like, I can't tell the difference between quality between this subgroup 20 and this group 24. In fact, I think this thing performs much better. What's going on, G-Style Fishing? This one performs much better than that, and it's only 9 pounds. It's smaller. It's more compact. You can stick almost 2 of these in the same place that it would take for a group 31 style. So that's about the size of a group 31. And you stick 2 of those in there. So these have actually kind of really revolutionized my builds because of this. You can lay them, for one, you can lay down flat. So if they're too tall, like some of these are tall, but if you lay them down flat, they go really slow. We'll get into the mini in a second. So you can lay these down. If you feel like your posts, you're worried about your battery popping up and touching your hatch and lighting your whole boat on fire, tilt them down. It doesn't matter. The cells are the cells. It's not like if you tilt this thing down, it's going to leak and melt your boat, because that will happen. These have to be straight up all the time. You can tilt this one down. You can have the studs all the way down here, right on the turf or right on the rubber mat you choose. Run your rigs, and it's a lot safer. The bigger thing about these though is lithium is all nothing. So the power band lasts. There's no voltage drop like there is in AGM or the lead acid. It's a constant push. So in the very beginning, you were seeing these outrageous. Guys, leave a like in the chat. Also, we're having the biggest Christmas sale ever at tvnation.net. All right, before I lose track, the voltage drop. We back in the day, like, you know, when Dakota Lithium was all big and they were just starting to get in, and all these people had piled in, and the batteries are about $1,000, which for like a battery now, that's the big drop. They're about $200 for the same battery you would have paid $1,000 for, I think, in like 2019, 2020. So some things have gotten cheaper, but back then, they were giving these outrageous warranties, like 10 years, 15 years. Nobody could believe it. We're like, really? A battery that's this light and a 15-year warranty? Are you serious? Because you get lucky to get a year out of this thing. You might get 2 out of that one, maybe, just depending on the brand. So Deca is pretty good, but I mean, 10 years. What company is even going to be? So there's some suspects, like some critical thinking here goes on here. A lot of these companies, these smaller companies, are not going to be around 10 years. They're just not. A company that lasts 10 years, that's a boss company. It is hard to stay alive that long. We're talking like Nabisco, shredded wheat, ravioli. Who else has been? Like Volvo, Ford, like those companies. They're talking about giant conglomerate companies, GE, Samsung, like big companies. Those will stay open for decades, but the small battery company here 10, 15 years later. So that was like, I was like, whatever. But I mean, it's cool that they put that warranty out. They believe so much of the product that they think they can get it in 10 years. You might not be around to warranty it or honor that, because you'll be wherever you're at. But it was still cool. But then these batteries are going out in 1 year to 2 years to 3 years. They were going out. People were pissed. They were all complaining. They're like, my battery, it's dead. And they're, you know, just a lot of complaint. You know, like the bass holes out there in the little sun visors and those stupid little like golf shorts. They look like they should be on a golf course, but they're on a bass boat fishing. Those guys, complainers. Like, they're all complaining. And, you know, we ought to take notice of that because it was loud. It was loud. So we're like, what is the deal here? So as my team, really the team in the Southeast shop, Chris and Ryan, specifically Chris, has done so much research and found out a whole lot. And he just informed me that in the BMS, the battery management system, which all lithium batteries now had, and before they did not, if the lithium battery drops below a certain voltage, the battery just goes dead. You can't put it on a charger because the charger won't read the battery. The battery just dies. And you often have to jump it to get the battery back. And when you get the battery back, there's no guarantee that you will ever get the max voltage again. It'll go down to 90, 85%, 70%. And sometimes you just can't bring the battery back. And it came real close, this close to that happening. Killed that battery twice. But to be fair, a lot of juice is coming out of it. Yeah, so it was a little scary. So back then, that's what was happening. People were running these, abusing them. You can't tell that they're noticeably decreasing because the power band is all the way straight high until the end. So they could never tell when it was actually going down. There was no real good way to actually document like the actual flow of how low it was going, how high it was going. The only way to do it, and there's only one company out there, there's Pro Charging Systems, these guys. Dual Pro, which is Pro Charging Systems, they're the only ones that actually have a true readout. They read the current, the amps going in and the amps going out. So if you're charging it, they read that, and that's how the charger reads it. This is a charger for them, but they have an actual gauge. It's the most accurate gauge on here. If you're gonna, like, if you're running cheap lithium batteries like these, those have BMSs. They have voltage overload and voltage drop safety mechanisms, so they'll shut off. These will shut off before they go too low. So they sense the voltage is about to go too low, beyond the point of no return where the battery could incur damage, it'll just kill off. And then you'll have to jump it. So chances for, if you have a battery like this and it just died and you're on your boat and you can't get it to work and you're like, what the freak? I just bought this thing. You just have to go jump it and you'll get it back. And hopefully it works as good as it used to, but you never know. That's a big major safety feature that's in all the lithium batteries now, like almost all of them. And anyone that doesn't have that, they're just being slackers on the back end. And there's a million companies out there putting out lithium batteries, which is another reason why it's gotten cheaper, because the market is now oversaturated. Kind of like, you remember the .com and then the .bombs? There's so many .coms and .bombs, and there's so many people competing for space on the internet, and then a lot of them died off. That's kind of what's like. There's all these people competing for lithium space. And I'm just wondering, I'm waiting for the die-off. But right now, when there's not a die-off, there's all this competition, they're extremely cheap. So that's a big thing. BMSs that have the voltage drop, that's kind of stopped that. So these should theoretically last longer. They can be, I guess, into 130, 100, really high. Like, it has to be extremely hot out there for these to incur damage through heat and also from cold. I don't live in extreme cold, so I can't vouch for it. It only gets to down, I think 45 is really, really low down where I live. And I know you guys are going in 30s, 20s, 0 degrees, -15. I just can't relate to that. So I don't know how well these actually perform in the cold. But, I mean, they got to perform better than these. I mean, that's water. It'll freeze, right? I've never had a frozen battery, but I would just think, theoretically, these will perform better than a lead acid, at least. All right, guys, if you guys are in the chat and you are new to this live stream, there's 30 people in the chat, only 16 likes. And you guys, please just hit that thumbs button. Move your thumb slightly down there. They'll have this chat grow to about 50 people if we can get 30 likes. Generally goes up to about 50. It's like 100 likes, 100 people. It's like a like for like. It's kind of weird. So, hey, I appreciate you guys hitting that number up. Thank you. So, bigger thing here. Let's go over some of the cheap budget lithium batteries. Let's talk about, since we're obviously deep into lithium, we've talked about lead acid, we've talked about AGM, the differences and why the switches. Let's talk about quality, different between price points and quality, and we'll talk about some of the chargers. All right. So, obviously, if you can see, I'm kind of a fan of Power Queen. You can get these on Amazon for quite cheap. These are both about 250 bucks on Amazon. This one's about 100 and something. It's like about 100 bucks less, or almost 100 bucks less. So, oh, and I wanted to say something. Thank you for that comment. I just saw it float across it. You just put something in my head. The batteries that are now so advanced, I think they're called Norsk batteries. I put out a lithium battery video It didn't do very well because it was for the IBEX show, and it was just showcasing products and who wants to watch that infomercial. But I did post one out there. Maybe I'll tag it up here to the live stream, or tag it in the description once this thing uploads. But Norsk had heating cells in the batteries, so apparently the cold does matter. But they had the same amp hour battery with a red label, and that one had like heating things. So the battery had a thermometer in it, and it knew to sense when it was so cold, and it would start heating itself up. The battery would heat itself up, like with the brain. It just knew to do it and keep your battery at optimal performance. I think it probably would not last as long because it's heating itself up, but it couldn't be that much that it affected it. So that is a big thing. There was huge advancements in here. We'll be talking. But in the meanwhile, these are pretty good. 50 amp hour. I would say I got better performance out of this than I did this. I would never get one of these again if I were you guys. I would just get these. And there's some knockoff ones. There's I forget. There's a few out there that are kind of clones. There's like three major companies you'll see spamming batteries, lithium batteries. But I can only vouch for these because these are the ones I ever got. I don't know about the other ones. But I would say out of this 12.8 volts, about $150, maybe a little more depending on who you get it from. For the extra $50, it's so much better than that thing. I would never get one of those again. I'll get 3 of these or 4 of these. But what really works much better than that thing are these. So these are 100 amp hour. So that the standard 100 amp hour batteries since forever have came like this. And they're about the size of a Group 31 traditional battery. But it's a straight 100 amp hour. I don't actually know what the group is for a 100 amp hour battery, but assume it's very, very close to a 31 or higher. And these are the traditional, but they have just now recently came out with, for a few months now, a mini, 100 amp hour mini. Look at the size. Look at the size comparing. See this? It's like way smaller. It's way smaller because like, look at it right here. That's all 3 of them. 50, 100, and that's still 100. It's like a dead middle, and it's skinnier. It's only slightly taller than this battery. We're talking about like this much taller, but look how much you can fit a lot of these. This is my favorite style right now. This size, the 100 amp hour mini is boss, and it's still obviously have a bias toward that one. But I've been running my boats off these. They're phenomenal. You can get on plane faster, get out of the hole faster. You can put more weight in your boat and not worried about your batteries. You get like 2 or 3 of these, 4 of these. And we're talking about battery setups. The average bass boat is running 6 batteries, guys. 6. If you were running it back in the traditional days, like before lithium, running 6. You're running 3 Group 31 AGMs, or maybe less, maybe Group 27s or Group 29s. You're lead acid or AGM. You're running those for your trolling motor, for 36 volt trolling motor. So 2 if you were running 24, but really 2 to 3 just for that. Then you needed one for your actual boat, a house battery. Okay, like it's running your gauges, your basic lighting, your pumps, your bilges. It's running the boat, pretty much. Then you needed one for the starter, so you had a starter battery. That's 5, 4 to 5 right there. And then like fish finders specifically went into the UHD category, and then Panoptics came out, and all of a sudden fish finders needed their own battery. You could no longer run it off of the house battery of the boat while accessories in the boat were running and then get the optimal performance. So people are now running 6 batteries, minimum of 4, max of 6, for like if you're running like the full throttle setup. That's a bass boat. In most tiny boats, you kind of have the same problem. If you can negate the starter battery if you just want to pull that. You don't have blown out shoulders or you're not a weak person. You can just pull the motor. I personally will always pull that thing before I like have to worry about a starter battery. But I think the older I get, I'll change my perspective on it. So I get rid of that weight, but that's a starter battery is still about the same size as this one, and weighs about the same. And then as far as the electronics batteries, yeah, if you're running UHD fish finders, you kind of need a lithium. It's like a thing. You just it's hard to get away from it if you want the optimal performance out of them. So we've kind of switched to here. One that I don't have here is like a 16 volt. Powerhouse makes a 16-volt battery. And that one specifically, the more amps it helps out, like for live scope and all those things. All right, so let's get into some of these. What makes a battery on the higher spectrum is pretty much that it has Bluetooth capabilities. This one, well, for one, it should have a better warranty by a true company. So this company is actually based out of the US, like just a few blocks down from our shop in the Southeast. And we trust these guys. We've talked to the owner. He backs them. So quality of cells really matter. So only certain companies are going to guarantee quality of cells. Somewhere down in the US, you can hold them a little bit more accountable than you can if you buy. If these are made in China. You ain't going to be holding nobody accountable with these. Like, what are you going to do, complain? They're like a whole another continent across the COA. But these guys, if they do one of our customers dirty, we can just go to the door and be like, what's this? I thought you had a good warranty. But they back their stuff. So Powerhouse Lithium is really good. But the bigger thing is these have an app. Most advanced batteries that cost a lot have apps. And they have advanced BMS systems that work a little bit better than these, just have a little bit few more features. And the warranties over here, these are definitely backed. This is a 60 amp hour. It's the same size, same kind of thing as this, but this one's noticeably heavier. You can just tell. Yeah, I can barely twist that one. That one's got to be like 15 or 20 almost. So a lot of people will run these for their UHD fish finders. They'll get these little cheap ones, 12 amp hour. Oh, 12 volt, 20 amp hour. That's 20 amp hour? Really? That's a 30 amp hour. They'll run these, one or two of these. They know when they'll reasonably drop. They last about 8 hours, maybe a little less, and they'll just switch them over. They'll run one or two of these in there. There's a pretty cheap option right away to like get the max out of your UHD fish finder. And real quickly, I get the odd question all the time, probably the most important question. Can you run all your stuff off of one battery? By the way, if you're new in the chat, guys, please leave a like. And please check out our end of year blowout sale. It's the biggest sale we've ever had in the history of the company. tvnation.net. But can you run all the stuff off of one battery? Can you run your trolling motor and all your electronics for the boat and the fish finder? I mean, the accessories. Can you run all three of those on one battery? Maybe. So let's talk about it. With this one, no. Nope, you cannot. Because the voltage drop, and it just doesn't put enough, like, volts out, like high enough output for it to carry really well. Say you had your fish finder on, and you're running and you had your trolling motor on. You crank your trolling motor up to speed 5. Your fish finder is going to suffer tremendously. It might even just shut off. It might just shut off. When it senses low voltage, it'll shut off. Because, like, the trolling motor is just going to starve your battery. It will starve it to death. But the lithiums, they're putting out almost 14 volts. And they have a really high output. That's why they're preferred. So if you had a lower draw trolling motor, like a 12 volt, and a non-UHD fish finder, like just a regular Joe to kind of get you around boat navigation, and you had a bilge pump here, a light here, you could run it all off one battery. But it has to be lithium. It has to be lithium. It has to be able to take that amount of draw and be okay with it, and take the abuse and be okay with it. The AGMs and the lead acids won't do it. But I just wouldn't do that. It's so much better to just have 2 batteries. Like if you get this one and one of these, they're both 100 amp hours. So like if you get a 100 amp hour and a 50 amp hour, you have the 50 amp hour powering your boat and maybe your basic fish finder. You have this other one handling the trolling motor. You can run that setup for a whole weekend and not even like worry about it. A whole weekend. That's about $350. That'll power your whole boat, minus the starter battery. If you're running like a smaller boat with a 12 volt, obviously you can go to 24 volts. All right. Now back to this. If you didn't want to like get 200 amp hours or 300 amp hours, if you're running a 24 or 36 volt trolling motor setup, the other big thing about lithiums is they started making 24 and 36 volt battery packs. 25.6 volts out, 60 amp hour, group 31. I mean, that's what the case is. So I'm thinking the case is, because this is definitely not a group 31. This is beyond group 31. But I think this group here is the size of the actual casing. So we have, this is it, 25.6 volts. This thing is very hard to kill. It will take the place. And they have ones now that are 100 amp hour, like 24 volt, 100 amp hour. That's this exact same size. Some other companies actually make it out there, and they're very good. And that just cuts down. Now you're cutting down numbers of batteries, because this thing, about the same size as this one, right? It's not much heavier. This is 100 amp hour 12 volt, 60 amp hour 24 volt. It is heavier, but look at the profiles. Oh, running out of room here. Look at them together. If you're talking about space, if space is an issue, this is a huge lifesaver. You can put that battery, you can put one battery everywhere. 2 batteries together, 3 batteries together in series, you got to make your own separate compartment for that almost. Or you have a bunch of problems running a bunch of wire. It'd be a headache to run wires in series. So if you can go for it, it's so much worth it to get just a 24 or 36 volt battery pack, just for the trolling motor. Because if you have like the max setup for a bass boat, then you just decreases your overall battery count from 6 to 4, right? And if you're running a more of a basic setup on a tiny boat, you may have made your whole setup from 3 or 4 to 1, and that's a big deal. They are also really expensive. It's like twice the battery, so it's about twice the cost, sometimes more depending on which one you get. But they do have budget ones. They have Power Queen sells a 24 volt battery on Amazon. They don't do too bad. They don't do too bad. So let's look at the last thing we really got to talk about is like the chargers. So the standard chargers, let me go to standard charger, just so we have like the whole thing here. Where is it? Yeah. Okay, that didn't go very well. All right. This is a standard. Can a LifePO4 could start a motor? Let's talk about that real quick. That I can't believe I almost forgot that. Thank you for whoever put that in the chat right now. Please leave a like for that guy. Can you start? You get a lithium starting battery for a motor like this with a starter. Yes and no. So it has to be updated. So the newer motors, the new generation motors, likely can do it. You have to check with the manufacturer to make sure. But that one is not new. That's a Gen 3. They've already made another generation, 25 horse like that. You'll burn the starter out. Or the starter something will happen, but I'm pretty sure it's the battery burns the starter out. You can't take it. And that was another big problem. People burning their starters out. So you never do know unless you just do the extensive research to find out whether or not you can use. So and you're talking about like updates in terms of motors that actually get updated. The most top end motors get updated, right? They like the 150 and aboves, right? So these little peons, the portable outboards, they get the last of the last. They're like at the bottom of the barrel. Then the 40 to like 90s, they get the next best treatment, but still not. They don't really get a whole lot of updates. Then obviously 100 horsepower on, 115 on, those start getting paid real close attention to. And then obviously the racing motors, Mercury Racing and the shows and all the, the Yamaha show and all those other ones, they get the max, always the updates. Those will probably run lithium starting batteries. A lot of people who are running the bigger horsepower, like 250s, the 250Rs on the bass boats and all those the Verados on the bass boats, those can take a lithium. Most of them can. But the small portable outboards, I would steer clear of it. Just get a lead acid. All right, it's back to chargers real quick. A lead acid starting battery. Also, deep cycle. Make sure it says cranking. Do not use a deep cycle battery to start your motor because you'll kill this battery. It'll die. It'll die. It won't explode. It'll just die, and you'll have to go buy a new one. All right. So this is a standard battery charger for what you would get. This will charge the AGM and this will charge lead acid. which is, I mean, we know this is at Walmart. You can go get this today to charge these. And then obviously, I had some other ones. I was going to give them away during this live. Let's see if you guys give me a second, I'll go get some and we'll actually give some battery chargers away because I have some in my car. And yeah, I'll go get them for you right now. I will. Well, let's talk about other ones that are kind of newer and more updated. This is actually Pro Charging Systems or Real Pro's latest battery charger. Like economy one kind of is here to compete with the Noco and all the other ones. And this one, in my opinion, is a little bit better. This is this one will charge all these lithium and AGM and whatnot. You can definitely tell when you do the indicator, when you choose between cells, you'll be able to choose between wet cell or flooded cell, AGM or lithium. And these will charge anything. I think you can choose between 5 and 12 amps. I think. I don't know. Or it might just charge 5 amps continuous. And some of them that are more advanced and more expensive, you obviously can choose between a lower charge and a higher charge. Where that really matters, I don't know if it matters at all for lithium. But I know when you charge this at a lower volt, the lead acid specifically, and probably the AGM, because they're very similar, these, you want to charge a lower volt. So if you can get away with 2 to 5 amps max charge, yeah, it'll take these forever to charge, but they'll actually charge much more full that way. So if you charge these at 12 amps, you can, but a lot of gas and a lot of energy happens, and so it gives the illusion of it being full, but it's really only about 80% full. You have to wait for it to like simmer down and then recharge it again, then you might get 100. So you have to charge it twice at 12 volts, or you can charge it for a much longer time once at like 5 volts or even 3 or 2. And so that's where this comes. This actually has, not volts, amps. I'm sorry, guys. 5 amps, 3 or 5 amps, or 12 amps. The charging is at amps. So like here, what, 3 amp maintainer? I'll run the 3 amp maintainer on it. The 50 amp wrap charge, if I'm in a hurry, but I know the battery's not going to get the full charge. But if I got to go, I came back that morning, it was on fire, I'm going to go back out that evening because the days you're trying to seize the day, 15 amps. I don't know. And use distilled water. Yeah, I wouldn't use tap water in your battery. That's just, I wouldn't drink tap water, I wouldn't put it in the battery. Distilled water. And definitely check those battery caps like every other time you go out on your boat, or maybe every time. Pop those battery caps. A lot of maintenance comes with those batteries for the cost. So it's about, with some of these, it's about time versus money, or whether you're willing to put up with all the maintenance it costs, because they are cheaper. Those are the cheapest, but you have to do all this extra maintenance to maintain them. So you got, is it really cheaper? I don't know. All right, let's get back to lithium, the chargers. So there's that. We talked about that. I'm pretty sure 4 6-bank amps. 6 amps is pretty good, right? It'll take these all a lot longer to charge, especially if you're charging one of these bigger ones. But they'll charge really consistent. You can charge all these batteries. And if you're charging the cheaper batteries or the traditional batteries, 6 amps is not going to like hurt your battery or give it a false full charge. 6 amps is right about where the cutoff is. Preferably 5, but 6 is fine. Now, the bigger thing, and this is probably where we're going to end on the chargers, is these. This is a new age charger where they've really kind of started. They really started ramping stuff up. So this is from Powerhouse, and this is specifically for me, a 12 amp, 12 to 15 amp. Darn it. And a 24. So I got a 12 and a 24. So I just so happen to have a 12 and a 24. And I also have a 16 for my UHD fish finders, but they make a 12, a 16, and a 36. So you can run your entire bass boat off of 3 batteries. 3. If you're running a 36 volt setup. They don't have a 12, 16, 24. That kind of pissed me off. So, but it is whatever it is. You can't have everything your way, but I wish they did, because then I'd be able to run all my batteries off of one charger. It just, and they have different ones. They have 12, 12, 24, 12, 12, 36, 12, 16, 36. They have different ones. But essentially, one battery charger, you can run your whole boat off of 3 batteries, and it's superior performance. It's a pretty big deal. And that in conjunction with the app, some apps are better than others. But there's a lot of companies out there, guys. All of them claim to be the best. All of them claim to have been around for decades. Who knows? Who has the time to really research all that? That was weird. You guys there? Oh no. Are you guys there? Somebody say something. I don't know what happened. Like, I went to go scroll and the stupid ad for a game popped up. I don't know if it cut my stream. We're good? Okay, thank heaven. Because that would have been like super embarrassing and rude. All right, guys, let's go into Q&A. Let me see. I got you guys covered. I saw a lot of comments. Well, you guys really commented a lot. More than yesterday. I don't know if I can get all these. Let me try to address what I can. What day is HydroSurf going on sale? It's not on sale right now, Dominic? I'll find out. If you want to message us on Facebook, I could definitely try and find out for you. But it should be on sale right now. Like, we have 12 days of Christmas. Everything should be on sale right now. I know they're trying to target specific things. Like yesterday was our electrical kits, and today was something else. We have a big sale on the Milha light skiffs. And we definitely have a sale on HydroSurf because we have an overstock. So let's look. Alex DDD. Yo, how long does it take to wire a boat fully? About as long as it takes to build it. I hate rigging a boat. It will be the most painful part of your whole thing. So after you run your conduits and you framed it all in, and you even laid down the turf, and then you start to rig the boat, you'll hate it. That's going to take a very long time. I don't know what it is about wiring, but you'll waste your whole day wiring. You'll feel like it's like 1 hour, hour and a half. The whole day's gone. It's like nighttime. It gets cold. That's wiring. And I've wired X amount of boats. You never really get any faster. I mean, you do, but it doesn't matter. Like, it's like stupid. I don't even know what to say about it. All right, let me look here. Is the power pole charge any good? I don't know. What are you talking? What's the power pole charge? Like the trolling motor? The power pole move? Is it called a charge? Are you talking about the trolling motor? Because the trolling motors from power pole are extraordinary. They're also $5,000. I'm not going to buy it, obviously. Most people aren't going to buy it. You know who will buy that? Like pro anglers who know that stealth matters the most, and they have that pocketbook to drop $5,000 and be okay with it. Those are people who are going to get the power pole move trolling motors. Most people will just put up with the noisy turret sound from the electronic brushless trolling motors, and they'll just deal with it. But that's the reason the move is $5,000. It is so much quieter than anything else on the market. We saw it directly at the IBEX show. It's pretty serious. All right. For BJS fishing, I would still use an AGM battery. I would honestly, for the cranking battery, I know I talked about it earlier, but just to reiterate, I would just use a lead acid. Unless like your motor is so big that it requires so many more cold cranking amps that you have to get an AGM, I would just get a lead acid, a cheap one from Walmart. It's like $80, $70 for a Group 24 MS, and that's really all you need to crank. That's what's going to go in this boat. There will be one lead acid battery, and it will be a Group 24 MS cranking battery from Walmart. All right. There's no way. Okay. Sorry, guys. Let me catch up here. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Just give me 1 second. Right. Thank you guys for all those likes. I think we covered most of these questions. What do you fix my boat? Oh, you'll fix my ceiling if I fix your boat? Where do you live? I really don't want to do that ceiling. I don't have the time. And I don't want to pay anybody to do it. Trading work for work's the thing. I'm about it. Somebody's local knows how to fix a ceiling. We'll talk. I'll do boat work all day. I hate doing wall. You see this wall here? I hated doing that wall. I hated it. I hate doing walls. It doesn't matter what kind of wall it is. I hate it. Drywall? Shoot me. I don't know how anybody does it. You drywallers out there, dude. Whole nother level of respect. Right up there with roofers. Okay. How much money do I usually spend on electronics for a normal sized boat? It's anywhere from $700 to $1,000 to wire a boat. $500 on the short end if you're doing super basic stuff. Like, not super basic. You really could wire a boat for like $200. Like bare bones, one bilge pump, basic nav lights, and accessories. And then it goes from $500 on. But really, by the time we're done doing one of this boat, will be a $1,000 wiring job. It'll be a $1,000 wiring job. We're gonna be talking about that tomorrow, and we have a whole hour-long tutorial about wiring all day. But and if it wouldn't disrupt the live stream too much by me looking for that stupid thing, I would find a box and show you all of it. But tomorrow that I definitely will have a box of wiring out tomorrow. That'll be the topic for the live. What's the best battery for your 45-pound trolling motor? This one or this one? A group, a 50 amp hour or 100 amp hour. 100 amp hour you'll run forever. You'll run all weekend. You do a weekend getaway, it'd be all 4 days. Thank you guys for also answering some of the questions in this chat that I couldn't get to because when I was talking, you would see your comment for a second and then it would like disappear. And I got to do this weird scrolling thing. What do I think about the Pelican Bass Raider? Get a pond prowler instead, Romy. They're better. The Pelican Bass Raider is not aerodynamic. It's got all these channels down the tunnel that actually drag water and make you slower. So it's not, and it doesn't have a true front. So it's not the best. It's not the best hull design. I think it just rides on the Pelican name and sells a lot. But the cheap Bass Pro Johnny Morris pond prowler is better. All right. What's the best charger for lithium battery? That's a good one. I didn't even cover that. So there's a house charger too. Let me humbly walk around and find a house charger. Buy the house charger. Either buy a dedicated charger like that we showed you, that advanced one. And if you can't get that, there's these. If you can't get that, there's these. This right here. This is an actual White Run from Power Queen. That's why I have it. All right? This is for a 12 volt. And this is a smart charger. It's got it knows when it's going on. And it'll charge it until it's full and it'll shut off. Like it knows. It knows when to shut off. That's another big reason a lot of the lithium batteries were failing back in the day, because they would charge them. There just were no smart chargers. They were just regular chargers. And the batteries would charge in like 2 hours. And then it would risk overcharging, and overcharging dramatically damaged the battery. So there was 2 reasons. Like overuse of, too big a voltage drop, and then overcharging. So the BMSs in today's lithium batteries, if you're any reputable company at all, have addressed that. Let me see here. Outboards on sale? I don't know. Possibility. We're trying to sell everything because the winter sucks for us. Nobody cares about fishing during the winter. You're hunting and skiing and doing other things. So we try to we run pretty big sales this time of year because sales across the board for the whole fishing outdoor industry suck. All right. Oh, I think I'm getting through them. Okay, Dominic, I'll see what the HydroTurf deal is. Let me see if we're running a sale. I do know over a certain amount of money that you buy on our website, you get that much discount off. So there's pretty big percentages off the total amount of money spent. So that's where you would definitely get a discount. You'll see it during the checkout. If you don't see it, then don't check out, and we'll address it. But I think that's how it's being played out. I'll be a little bit more clear about it next year. But we are having a pretty big monster sale. A lot of people are getting on it. And right now is the time, because come the new year, then it's just, it's back to business. Oh, how do power poles run on a house battery? I never had power poles. I've always made manual ones. But I assume they would probably run all right. There's not a whole lot of action on them. I think the power poles generally are connected to the house battery. Well, they wouldn't be connected to anything else. It would make more sense to connect them to the house battery. And they're just going up and down. I assume they would work fine on the house battery. It's not like they need a peak amount of bolts like a UHD fish finder, or they don't work right. What's going on, Maverick? Why is your favorite part of all projects, Thomas? You're a special kind of human being. I admire that. Like, Who here, raise your hand in this chat, likes to wire a boat? All right. And I made all the wiring boats that kind of, I made all the wiring videos for our company. And I'll tell you what, it's the part that we procrastinate on. Like, we'll get right to the part where we should start doing, and then we'll find other things to do until we can't avoid it. Do you have to charge it after the weekend? So lithium batteries, there's a lot of advancements in lithium batteries. The one thing we didn't talk too much about in this discussion is just how many advancements there are in the battery. We're talking about those heating cells. The battery knows how to self-heat in the midst of extremely cold weather. It also has sensitivity to overcharging and overuse. So it'll stop itself from voltage drop, and it will also stop itself from what we just talked about, which went right out of my brain. Can't believe it. I had it and it left. What's the question? Oh, and a lot of them are actually smart enough to drop down to voltage, like to 60%. So a lot of lithiums don't like to be stored at max voltage. So after 1, 2, 3 days of use, if they're a smart battery, like these, after so many days to a week, they will drop down. They're saying, okay, I'm not being used, I'm being stored, drop down to this voltage. This is the voltage we like for storage. A lot of drone batteries are like that. You have like a DJI, or if you don't use them like in a 2 or 3 days, they drop all the way from 100 to 60, and you just charge them and you think you're good. No, you gotta charge them that day. So I would try to be on it. Know to charge your batteries that day. But as far as like damage to the battery over time, like there will be damage to this battery. If I charged it, then used it, and then charged it again for like a month or even a few weeks, then the performance of that battery is potentially compromised. So yes. I'm not doing a backflip, I'm old. So let me see here. Okay, I'm going to find out from Nate about the outboards. There's a few questions about the outboards going on sale. I'll find out. We probably can run something, but I'm not sure. There's the margins for outboards is actually so small that you kind of only make really money on installation. So I really don't know if, like, to do any discount on outboards, at least on our level, would be trying to give them away. So unless you have like serious buying power to buy like 50, 100 at a time, they don't really cut you any deals. Well, we can see. It's a possibility that we have an overstock. So we generally will run sales on overstock. Is it best practice to unhook all the batteries? No. I would just use a battery cutoff switch. Most people just use a battery cutoff switch. It's best practice to use a battery cutoff switch. That is definitely true, especially if you have electronics that appear to be off but are secretly on the whole time, like fish finders, and sometimes the chargers or aftermarket spot lock chargers, those things stay on, like the black boxes for those stay on, like for the auto boat. Yeah, definitely a cutoff switch is the way to go. You can run one for your trolling motor, but a lot of trolling motors have on-off buttons, on-off switches. Definitely we got to run one for your house. And I definitely would run one for fish finders. If you don't have a cutoff switch for your black box for your Panoptics, that's very bad. The website is tvnation.net. Ron, you live in Florida? There's no winter down here in Arizona too, but it's still not as nice as Florida. We went to Tampa and then the area around it. Man, it was nice. I'll tell you, if there's any other place that I could go, it could be Florida. I feel like I could just go in there, not deal with the culture shock, and just fit right in. Florida is beautiful. All right. Yeah, boat building stuff is something else. And we don't even really build big boats. Once you get to like the big ones, like the bay boats and all these other ones, like the wiring, they got to worry about DC. We got to worry about ambient current or alternating current. Like you got to worry about AC/DC. Here, all we have to worry about is 12 volts DC. It's cake. A 7th grader could wire this boat if you just got a brain for it. But the other stuff, you got to really kind of do research and know what you're doing. So, all right, Mavic. I'm reading your comment here. Okay. Dual dude. You're an automotive technician. You love finding wiring issues. The people who love finding wiring issues, you like it. You're an awesome person. There's not very many of you in the world. It's like one of those it's like one of those traits. Like, you ever met a hospice worker? I used to be a hospice social worker. It killed me in the inside. Like, I couldn't do it. It like slowly took away my soul to watch people die and go and visit to them, and then we're all trying to have a conversation. But there's nurses and other social workers, they would go in there and just talk to them. And they're like, I love my job so much, it's so meaningful. And they can just do it every day. I was like, those are special people. We need special people in the world. You chase wires, it's like almost on the same level. Not quite, but you're special. People who like to chase wires, you're special. And I hope you get compensated. I hope you get compensated very well. Because it's the jobs that solve serious problems that nobody else want to do, where you should be making money. If you're not making money chasing wires, somebody will pay you. Any giveaways tonight? Yeah. I will give 2 things away. But you got to like not leave the chat. Now, like, it's going to take me like at least 1 minute or so to go and get them out of my trunk. But before that, I'm going to try and answer everybody's questions. We're like down to the nitty gritty end here. So G-style fishing, what gauge wire size, what size gauge for electronics, for fish finders, for bilge pumps, 14, for LED lighting, that just the individual courtesy lights, 16. You can't go below 16 legally for USCG standards. For UHD fish finders, we're running 10 gauge wire, 10. 12 gauge in a short span that's less than 5 feet, but 10 gauge in most scenarios. 10 gauge wire. And it's specifically because it's only 12 volts. Something about the larger wire says even though it's 12 volts, you can still get more current through larger wire with 12 volts. Where for like a house, like a 110 outlet, obviously you wouldn't need near as thick a wire to get it. So you can use smaller wire. And that's a very generalized concept. But that's how it was explained to me by somebody smarter. I wish they were here today to give you the actual deal. Hello there from Sweden, Ned. Wisconsin. What's going on, Agent Orange? Agent Orange, were you here like yesterday? Go peacock bass fishing? We tried, man. We couldn't sneak it in. I caught a snook last time I went, though. I caught snook, first time ever, bucket list fish. Obviously, I tried to catch a tarpon, and I didn't. I caught a ladyfish instead. The video's closed, right? What kit would you... Okay, so for Thomas Shoes World. Thomas Shoes World, what kit would you buy for a bass attacker? Like, I gotta know what kind of boat. Is it a V-hull? Is it a John boat? Because we have V-hull kits for 14 footers, and we have jumbo kits for like 14 all the way up to 16, and even for 12 foot, we have micro framing kits for 12 footers if you really want to kit them out. But we have a plethora. You just look in framing kit. Go to tvnation.net, search framing kit, and all of our stuff comes up. Like complete builds from scratch. You build everything from scratch: the hatches, the frame, to other ones where it's not so labor intensive, but clearly more expensive. You got spots down there. I never caught a spotted bass. I had like one chance in Georgia on Lanier, and then another chance, blew it. I was too busy filming. All right, I think we're here. So, if you want a free battery charger, that is for lead acid or AGM, then stick in this live stream because I'm about to go get it. And for anybody who's wondering what's happening, just kind of talk and tell them if they're new to the live stream. Bring back. You guys hit a like for the giveaway. When I come back, there better be like 40 likes in this thing. Be right back. Give me my keys. I'll be right back. Hello? Still there? My phone screen went blank. Is it dying? I wonder. We've been live for about an hour. We were live for about an hour yesterday. Are we still here? Somebody say yes. Yes, sweet. Okay, so the screen just went blank, but you guys are still here. All right. I'm very happy, guys. I'm very happy to give these away. I'm so happy. You know, they just sit in my trunk for like a year. So this is a 3-bank battery charger. 4 lead acid or AGM batteries. And yeah, it'll put 12 volts out to each battery at 10 amps. So it's 10 amp charger on all 4 banks. And it's not that heavy, it's about standard. But here, you want the Noco Genius Gen 4? All right. You think of an interesting question to ask you guys that's challenging. What is my favorite small boat? If you watched the video today, you would know. What boat has made me stop building smaller watercraft because it now exists in the market? Free. Nope, not the Bass Tracker, not the Killer. The Smokercraft is not my favorite small boat. It's kind of a bigger one. The Palm Prowler used to be it, but it's not anymore. Oh, Nick Jones, got it. Sorry, my nose itches. Nick, you got it. The light skiff. I dropped a video today because it was one of the 3 things. Because remember, I had like rodent damage to the budget build. That's another big deal. So we're looking at other things to give away. Most people just actually want a build kit. So we'll probably just give away a build kit of your choice. If you win the giveaway, the end of year giveaway before Christmas, then you probably win a pretty nice, hefty build kit. So definitely register for that. We'll probably be promoting that here pretty soon because it's going to have to be revamped to that. But yes, the light skiff. The light skiff is my favorite boat for small boats. Why? Because it's pretty unbeatable. It's built like a Yak Killer, but it's lighter. You can't get a John boat and kit it out. It's same size, and it be any lighter or perform any better. It actually perform worse, and it will not draft or plane or go as fast. So and also I can tow that light skip on kayak dollies. Like I had that little Malone dolly. I don't know. I dropped a video about it. So it's not my like favorite little boat. And it's also because I don't have a working boat right now. All my boats are either not built up or have rat damage. So that boat, it's plastic. No rats chewed it up. So all right. So Nick Jones, you guys won. You won the Noco, but don't worry, we still got a battery charger left. You have one more. But Nick Jones, please contact us on Facebook or Instagram. Say I'm Nick Jones. Mike said I won the giveaway. You can screenshot the chat. That would definitely prove that it's you and not somebody else trying to. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Just DM me. That's how we handle these giveaways. You guys DM us on the other platforms and we take care of it. But congratulations. I'm so glad to give that to you. And I'm also glad to give you guys this one. Also, 3-bank. Yeah, nice little LED setups here. Who? Did somebody else say it before that? Where? Jonah? You said it? Well then, dang, I'm gonna have to give this one to you. Or hold on. I see little. The light skiff. Okay, on my screenshot, Jonah, Nick beat you by like he was right above you. So it might look different in your screen, but Nick, unless you said it earlier. No, you did say it. You just misspelt it. Okay. No, you said it. No, Nick beat you there too. Let me see. I'm scrolling here to see if you got it before everybody else. Okay, so everybody started calling out boats right here. Yeah, Nick beat you by like, on my screen, I have him beating you. It's Nick Jones, then Jonah Morris, then Thomas Sue's World. But if it shows you, yeah, Jonah, you were like super close. You were super close. Let me try for this one. Since you're pretty knowledgeable, you have a pretty good chance of getting this because you were one of only 2 people. But so Nick's excluded from this since he already won a charger. So increases your overall chances of winning this one. All right, so this is the Minn Kota. This is most people's favorite. So let's go ahead and give this away. Well, okay, I got this. There's a bass boat in my backyard. What make or you know, what brand is it and what size is it? It's the only bass boat I've ever owned, and that I'll ever own, really, because I don't like them. But I got it specifically for projects because people wanted to see it. Which one is that? So it is a nitro, but nobody's got the size. Nope. Close. I have one and the other, but not two together. I need two together. Okay, Michael got it. On my screen, he got it. Nitro. He said Michael. His name is Michael. No last name. He got the Nitro 16. I'll take that. So Nitro 164, and it's been a while since I did videos on it, but it's 16.4 feet. So, Mike, you got this charger. I wish I had a Nitro 20. Did it make a 26? I think it make a Nitro 21. I don't make no 26-foot bass boat. Hopefully. I don't know. Maybe they do. But here, guys, you got this. This goes to Mike. The other one goes to Nick. Thank you guys so much for taking this off. And tomorrow I'll have some other things to give away. I mean, these are my last two battery chargers, but we'll figure out some other things to give away. We possibly might be able to give some gift cards away. Yeah, let me go talk to Nick about that. And let's see if we can give some gift cards away for you guys, because every year we give away gift cards, and I don't know why I didn't think about that. That's so stupid. I'm sorry, guys. I promise you gift cards right now, but I got to clear it with him. We'll give away some pretty good ones too. All right? But I will. I'll get back. We'll be giving decals and some gift cards and some other things away during the next live. The next live we'll be talking specifically about wiring. We're going to look at a wiring kit, all the stuff I use, and just ask your questions. What is this for? What should I use this for? And then we'll get right into it, because I think it's much more beneficial than you watching an hour-long video of me. I can't even stand to watch myself. I don't know how you guys do it. Truly, you are all special to me. Because I'll tell you, if I saw me on YouTube, I'd be like, this dude's got a monotone voice. He's boring. I wouldn't watch me. Thank you guys so much. All right, I'm going to end this live. Appreciate it. Appreciate you all.